Hey Zagger, John here. I'm going to try to go through this quickly so the video's short. This is the transmission I bought from eBay to replace the one in the bike that's damaged. All the gears that have tape on them, they're splined to the shaft. This is the counter shaft. This is your main shaft that has the clutch attached to this end. Uh, so this is spline to the shaft, spline to the shaft, spline to the shaft, spline. All these other uh, freewheel on bushings until these gear dogs slide over and engage them. So this is the center shift fork that came out of the bike. I hope you can see where it's has been sheared off there. That's what happens when you're speed shifting from first to second or second to third and you miss your shift. It rubs real hard on this surface here and it wears off these little pads that are machined onto them when they're made. This is machined, this is rubbed off flat, worn flat here, all the way down into the part number here. All these little shavings of metal that came off, I found them in the oil in the bottom of the crankcase. But that's junk right there. That'll, without those ears on there, it can't push the gear over far enough. When it doesn't push the gear over far enough, you have very little of these gear dogs engaging on the female side, and it'll just sit there and hit and pop off, and hit and pop off, and hit and pop off. That's that grinding that you hear when your transmission's tearing up. And it'll round these gear dogs and their mating surface. Instead of being straight, every time they start grinding a taper on it, and then once you've got a taper ground on it, torque forces them apart. Every time you release the clutch and hit the throttle, torque just forces them apart, and that's why your bike keeps jumping out of gear. Let me move up here. Try to bring it in a little bit so you can see the transmission shifting. Alright, this is first gear. In first, this set of gears slides over and the gear dogs engage onto your largest gear, which is your smallest highest ratio to take off in first. When you turn your shift drum with your foot lever, it's spring loaded. Your shift lever is, so it returns to center. But anyway, over here on your little star wheel, your shift fork, spindle B, your plate pushes the star cam that's attached to the outside of your shift drum, and it actually forces your shift drum to rotate. So if that's in first, right there, as we turn it, you can see it sliding over, and then we're in neutral. Nothing's engaged. Turn it some more, and it slides all the way over and engages this gear. And that's second. Move it over, you see this one sliding over to engage, and that's third gear. Going to fourth, this moves back to the center. And then this one's going to go in, and that's fourth gear. Go into fifth gear, this will disengage, and then this one slides over like that. That's fifth gear. Downshifting, you're in fifth, fourth, third, second, and then back to first. I just roll it. These gears being different diameters, they travel at a different speed. Sometimes these gear dogs sticking out will hit on the outside of the receiving female divots, and they'll run on top of it until it spins enough it can align itself. I hope I'm making sense. There's first, neutral, second, right there, second, third, fourth, fifth, fourth, third, second, neutral, first. Alright then. Over here on the third gear, where the second gear moves into the third, the gear dog's sticking out, and then the other side where they mesh at, they're rounded off real bad. Like I said, that happens with misshifts, and this shift fork probably had a lot to do with that. But it has completely rounded the edges off. The edges, once they start rounding off, they're junk. They have to stay flat. Once they round off, torque just forces them apart, and they'll jump out of gear. Okay.